black people have a full right to vote. We don't need the Electoral College to make it even.
That doesn't really track.
If everybody's voting, if we are voting federally to make a decision for this whole country, well, then every vote does matter. It doesn't matter where you're at, if you're in Rhode Island or if you're in LA the size of Rhode Island, our voices still count through our vote.
That's a hard one for me to answer right now. But overall, I can tell you that I really don't approve of the Electoral College.
Well, hold on. 5 times, yes, but the 5 times are all fairly recent, with exception of one.
That's
and
fine.
So something is.
It still doesn't negate the fact that it's only 5 times.
Oh, okay, it doesn't.
You're a fucking child to me. Get off my ass, dude. I'll box you out.
Donald Trump.
Are you a Trump supporter?
Yes. I mean, he almost goddamn died.
That is true.
And if you use that,
I'm gonna make you the thumbnail.
you ain't gonna make me shit.
Yeah, I am. You're gonna be the cover of my video.
Fucking garbage can.
You're gonna be the cover of my video.
Get out of my fucking town. You get out of my town, man.
Hey, how's it going, YouTube? This is Aaron again with American Interviews. Today I am out here at the Arcata Plaza with just 14 days left until the election. Many people think that the president should be elected by the popular vote, while many other people think that we should stick with the tried and true system of the Electoral College. Today I'm out here to ask the question, the Electoral College, should we keep it or abolish it? We're going to find out. Hello.
Hi. Do I have to go on camera to say, make it go away?
To make it go away?
Yes.
You want to abolish it? You want to give us your opinion? Stand on super sponge here. Give us your opinion. So today we're out here asking the question, the Electoral College, should we keep it or abolish it?
We should abolish it. There's no reason it should stay. We've made these rules. Humans have been ridiculous making rules that don't matter. It needs to stop. It needs to stop. I'm so fearful because of Electoral College that we will go through what we already went through, and we can't do it again.
What's your reasonings for supporting the popular vote instead of the Electoral College? Is that just to make sure? Is that what you support?
That is.
Okay. So what would be your reasonings for supporting that over the Electoral College?
You know, we make such an effort to get everyone get out and vote. Rock the vote. Get out there. You turn 18, you get to vote. It makes you feel like, what's the point? That's absolutely how I felt in 2016.
Right.
My 14-year-old daughter was crying. Like, it makes her feel like, why even do this? If we are told we get to grow up, we get to vote, we learn about how the judicial system works, and then, nope, just kidding.
Some people would make the same argument that, especially people in smaller states, swing states and stuff like that, that if the Electoral College was abolished, that their vote wouldn't count, because then the majority of voters would be coming from places like New York, LA, these places that are highly conglomerated with people, millions and millions of people. They would end up making the whole election. Do you think that that's a fair argument from the other side, or do you think that it should still be the popular vote, that the other people's votes in the smaller states they shouldn't matter? What do you think about that?
Of course, everybody's vote should matter. I guess when I think about how it works in my head mathematically, if everybody's voting, if we are voting federally to make a decision for this whole country, well, then every vote does matter. It doesn't matter where you're at, if you're in Rhode Island or if you're in LA the size of Rhode Island, our voices still count through our vote.
But
That's
federal
how,
laws still affect state laws in some ways. They'll affect policy that goes across the nation. So in these smaller states, if they don't have any voting power, how are they supposed to vote for what they feel is right? If they
understand them not having voting power.
so the majority of voters come from blue cities, right? New York, LA, Chicago, Atlanta, these places where have
Large population.
large, very, very large swaths of people. And that would end up swaying the vote in a particular way. It would end up being a popularity contest instead of having, I do, because I mean, it's in the name, right? Popular vote.
I mean, of course, it is the popular vote because more people are voting that way, is my opinion based on what everybody else is thinking. No, and no, it's not. I mean, I'm a social work student and I am fighting for social injustices. Like, I see things that are wrong. There are places that things are being done backwards and things that could happen that absolutely affect us today and our future. And I understand the word popular and popularity and what that means, that more people voting in one way, that's more people, I believe, using their minds and having an open mind and making a decision that matters for us in our future.
All right, so today we're out here asking the question, the Electoral College, should we keep it or abolish it?
We should abolish the Electoral College. It was established as a racist institution, and it does not represent the American people, and it results in unequal elections.
It was actually established as a way to keep the power equal among the states.
Well, that was the official excuse, but that's not what actually happened.
Do you want to explain to the audience what actually happened?
What actually happened was that the South wanted to count the slaves as people for their voting blocks, but they only gave them 3/5 of a personhood, and they didn't allow them to vote at all. So the result is that the southern states have an outsized influence on our elections, and our elections are not equal or even for everybody in the country. And if we abolish the Electoral College, we will go back to a true democracy.
We never were a true democracy. We're a constitutional republic.
That's true. We are a constitutional republic. But that republic is skewered by the Electoral College. The Electoral College does not count the votes of the American people properly.
Some people would say that the Electoral College gives smaller states and swing states the power, the voting power that they deserve. Otherwise, if it was up to the popular vote, the president would be elected by the coasts, and the flyover states wouldn't count at all.
Well, I disagree with that, but in a in a system where the majority rules, that's just how it is.
Right, but we don't have a system where the majority rules. We have the Electoral College, and we have electors that choose.
That's exactly the problem.
Right. Right. So you think that we should abolish the Electoral College for...
Absolutely. We should make the system equal for all people and not count blacks as 3/4 of a person.
Right. We don't do that, though.
Not anymore.
Right. But so that was fixed, right?
Which should make the Electoral College obsolete.
Why would that make the Electoral College obsolete? Those two things weren't decided at the same time.
If black people have a full right to vote, we don't need the Electoral College to make it even.
That doesn't really track because there are voting blocks in flyover states that are mostly white that wouldn't have power too, like Appalachia's, things like this. These smaller states where there's not very much population and there's millions more people voting the opposite way in the blue cities. So the president would just be elected by the big cities in America, not any of the other constituents.
Depends on who we have running and how many parties we have. If the Electoral College wasn't there, I think it would encourage more different political parties, more choices for president, and more people involved in the electoral system to begin with. There's so many people that don't vote at all
Right.
that would vote if they had a reasonable choice. And I don't think the Electoral College is helping that at all.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your opinion, sir. Thank you so much for stopping to talk to me, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Good luck.
Thank you. I almost went to Electrical College, but, you know, I don't like being shocked. So today we're asking the question, should we keep or abolish the Electoral College?
Abolish.
What's your reasoning behind that?
I think it should be left up to the people to vote. And why have another entity come along and decide things for us?
Do you think that stripping the Electoral College would also strip the voting power of certain constituents in smaller states?
I don't have any comment about that.
You don't think so?
I'm not educated on that.
Right. Well, the argument for abolishing it would be to elect the president off the popular vote, and the argument for keeping it would be to let these states because the framers of the Constitution were not in favor of the popular vote to begin with. So they elected to go with the Electoral College to allow smaller states with smaller populations to still have the power to vote for the federal elections and which way they'd like to go. Otherwise, if it was up to the popular vote, the president would be decided from these smaller areas of the nation where there's millions of people, LA, New York, Miami, these places that typically fall into the liberal side. Do you have any thoughts on the argument for keeping the Electoral College? Or
No, I'm against it.
you don't think that that it would be unfair to the constituents in the states where they have smaller populations?
That's a hard one for me to answer right now. But overall, I can tell you that I really don't approve of the Electoral College.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate your opinion, sir. Thank you for stopping to talk to me. Part of the reason I'm making this video today is to encourage all of you to go out and vote. Your vote counts. Your vote is important. Do not think that just because you live in a blue state and want to vote red, your vote still counts. If you live in a red state and you want to vote blue, your vote still counts. So go on out to vote.gov to register to vote, and we'll see you at the polls. So today we're out here asking the question, should we keep or abolish the Electoral College?
I am not that well versed really about the Electoral College, but what I recall learning about, especially with the last election in which the Orange Man became president, that it's sort of an antiquated organization that kind of overpowers, I guess, at election time the actual vote count, the regular vote count. So I've become less and less fond of the electoral system and the two-party system in this country, and so I hope we can evolve quickly into something that's much more democratic, fair, and balanced, and truly representative of the populace of the United States of America.
Some people would argue that the Electoral College does represent the constituents of the United States the best, because if it wasn't for the Electoral College, these smaller states with lower populations wouldn't really have like a voice in the election, because of the massive populations on the coasts like LA, New York, Miami, Chicago, Atlanta. These big cities, they would end up electing the president blue almost every time, because the popular vote tends to lean left, right? Do you think that it would be maybe unfair to these smaller states with constituents that maybe they would lose their voice in the federal elections? Do you think that that's a fair argument to make?
Well, I find it interesting that every state has 2 senators, and some of those are very sparsely populated states, and that in the Senate they have a lot of power. So I just really.
But it goes to the House. The Electoral College is up to the House. It's the numbers of House representatives you have, and they represent the constituents for the Electoral College.
Yeah, I'm a lifelong Californian, and I get the population issues and the votes, and I'm not blue, I'm not red, and I'm not green, and I'm a no party.
Pretty green today.
Well, I'm bright and green.
Joking.
Yeah, no. I am all about people's voices being elevated that are not allowed to be heard for so long in this country, and we just need true balanced democracy. We have representative democracy now, supposedly, and
well, we have a constitutional republic. We've never really been a democracy.
Yeah, well, democracy, republic, Democrat, Republican, these are just kind of words that we've just gotten used to.
Right.
And I am a proud, and for this part of the century so far, have been a no-party preference person. I think the two-party system has destroyed our any signs of our democracy. I was thinking this morning how elite it is for many people to, represent us. Represent us, meaning U.S.
Yes, as a whole.
And so, Electoral College, regular voting, I go to the voting booth. This early voting thing sort of bothers me. I like to go the day of the election and walk into a polling place and actually sit there for a while, because I may not have decided already who I'm going to vote for. And I just find so much of this problematic.
Right.
And
mail-in ballots. Do you think that these are problematic?
The what?
Mail-in ballots?
Well, I think they're problematic so early.
Right.
So much stuff can happen between now and true election day.
Right.
And I think we should have Election Day be a holiday. I'm with Bernie Sanders on a lot of this kind of stuff. Maybe we have a 3-day election time. I think we need to start looking and start not being so boastful of our own system here in the United States, and look at other countries that got their populace to be able to get a vote, and how they do it. And I'm just thinking we have a lot of work to do, and I'm going to vote on November 5th, and I'll see what the Electoral College does. You've sparked my interest in maybe trying to learn more about it. But what we really need to do is elect people and have people represent us that are truly humane, peaceful, altruistic, caring, compassionate, nonviolent human beings.
All important traits.
In any leadership.
Yeah.
We need peaceful, nonviolent, compassionate people, and that's what I'm working on towards locally.
Right. Getting
Arcata to be a city of peace, a nonviolent city, and a city of compassion.
Right. That's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now, I'm not decided on who I'm going to vote for or who the Electoral College will get to pick, but you have sparked my interest again in the Electoral College concept. I hate civics, but
it's important, as boring as it is.
Yeah, but anyway, I appreciate your asking me the questions, and it will be something I'm going to look into a little bit more. But it's not may the best man or woman win. It's like, America, wake up.
Right.
Stop being so selfish.
Right.
Stop being so selfish.
Right. One question that sparked from your answer, do you think that maybe if we did abolish the Electoral College and went off of the popular vote for the president, do you think that that would bring maybe like some sort of revival back into our political system, maybe help us get away from the two-party system? Do you think that that could be helpful in that venture, or do you think that it would not really be an effective measure to go about that?
I don't know enough about. I mean, I've really not appreciated electoral politics for the longest time. I'll have to, do my homework.
Right. That's admirable.
Mm-hmm. But golly, I hope I live to see the day that things evolve positively to a better world and a better America.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Okay.
I appreciate your opinion. Thank you so much for stopping to talk to me and giving me a couple minutes of your day. So today we're out here asking the question, with the presidential election coming up, the Electoral College, should we keep it or abolish it?
Well, we should have never had it in the first place, but we should definitely abolish it. I mean,
Go ahead.
well, every other nation in the world elects their leader by popular vote. How come we keep getting leaders who aren't elected by popular vote? Yes, there's no need for the institution.
Well, the president's only been elected 5 times by the Electoral College when they lost the popular vote, so it's not really a significant amount of the presidents. But what the first question I was going to ask is, why do you think that we should never have had it in the first place?
Well, hold on. 5 times, yes, but the 5 times are all fairly recent, with exception of one.
That's
and
fine.
so something is.
It still doesn't negate the fact that it's only 5 times.
Oh, okay, it doesn't. Why do I think it should never have been? Why shouldn't the president of all the people of a nation be elected by all the people of a nation?
Well, the framers of the Constitution didn't think that the popular vote would be the best. They were torn between the popular vote and Congress electing the president, so they came to a compromise of the Electoral College.
Well, we don't need the compromise anymore. I like to think we're a better educated populace than then. I like to think we're a more egalitarian population than then.
What would you say to the smaller states that would argue in favor of the Electoral College, saying that they might lose their voting power if it was solely up to the popular vote?
I think that to keep an inordinate amount of power in the smaller states doesn't really make sense. Why would you negate the population? For instance, maybe San Francisco has more people than all of Wyoming.
Right.
Why does Wyoming get a stronger vote than San Francisco? Or heck, maybe even, what's another town? Reading might have more population than all of Wyoming.
I think the point of the Electoral College is to have a fair consensus and have representation amongst all of the states rather than just the coasts or the most populous areas.
Well, it doesn't matter. Other nations do this, and they have people spread out. They have rural areas. They have urban areas. They have, some of them are very multi-ethnic, and they still vote for their president. And when the most people in the country would like, that is a nationwide election.
Right.
And so, yes, people in Wyoming can vote. I'm picking on Wyoming here, but they can vote on their governor because it's a statewide election.
Right.
They can vote on the representatives because it's a district-wide election. This is a national election. Why should we do it any different than every other election in the country?
One thing I would say to your comparison of other countries do it differently, our country is so much bigger than other countries. We have so much land to cover, right? Some states that we have are bigger than other countries, correct?
I agree.
Right. So some would argue that having the Electoral College lets all of the states have even voting power. It's done by populace anyhow, because California has 54 votes as opposed to North and South Dakota. They only have 2.
Well, I would say, yes, North and South Dakota both have 2 senators, as does California. They already have so much power, so much more power per their population than a lot of other states, all the larger states, that why do we give them more and more and more power with fewer and fewer votes? Your questions make it feel like you have a bias here.
I tend to push back on whatever opinion. If you were for the Electoral College, I would have made this argument. Some people say that the Electoral College is unfair because some people would say that their vote is less than other people's votes, like it's 2-1 or 3-1.
All right. Well, my wife is waiting for me to go home, and
would you agree with the last statement I made in favor of abolishing the Electoral College?
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for talking. I appreciate you. Have a good day. What you bumping over there? I never heard of that band.
That's because that doesn't exist.
Oh. Well, I guess you don't know what you're listening to then.
Yeah, I guess I don't know shit, huh?
I guess not.
Don't know jack shit, right?
Your words. Your words, not mine.
You don't know dental.
Maybe not.
Maybe you want me on your camera so you can spread love.
You want to come give us your opinion?
I want to talk to you, man. Make me sick.
Oh, come on, come on. Where's the love,
You're
bro?
starting an argument, man.
I'm not arguing.
Yeah, you are. That's all you are is one big fucking argument.
Oh, that hurts, man. Right to the core. You got me in my core.
Hello, sir. Oh no! I've got you on camera. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna leave because you're an instigator. You're an
Okay.
instigative right-wing asshole.
Okay.
Have a great day.
Okay, you too.
Put that online.
Okay.
Yes, I can. He's in public. There's no expectation of privacy in public.
Do shit like that.
No expectation of privacy in public, bro. You don't think I look up the rules before I do this?
You're not with them, are you? Yeah, okay.
Wait, you're getting okay to go to Eureka.
I can.
Hey, why don't you go vote for Trump and leave me alone, man? Go vote for Trump and leave me alone.
I already voted
Hey,
for
man.
him. You're out
You're
of
in
luck.
public, leave me the fuck alone. Look at these guys, camera right in my face. You're an asshole, dude.
not doing that shit for you, dude.
I'm gonna put you right on the you're the thumbnail, bro.
He's a fucking white supremacist.
You're the thumbnail of my video now. It's gonna be your face taking up 3/4 of the screen.
Come over here without your camera, see? Come on.
Tough guy.
Come on to my house.
Tough guy.
It's got nothing to do with tough guy. You just don't have to.
You're just instigating people.
I don't need it.
That's what you.
No, I don't. Look up the law. Go get a police officer.
Buddy, you have to get the permission.
You are in public, bro.
It doesn't matter if I'm in public. I'm not consenting. That's
It
why
doesn't
you turned
matter.
the fuck away, right?
No, it's because I'm actually now I'm focused on the show.
That's why you turned it the fuck away, because you don't have my consent. And if you use that,
I'm gonna make you the thumbnail.
you ain't gonna make me shit.
Yeah, I am.
What
You're gonna be the
fuck are
cover
you
of my video.
Fucking garbage can.
You're gonna be the cover of my video.
Get out of our fucking town. You get out of my town, man. For what?
The way you're acting.
I'm not acting anyway. How are you acting? You're incinerating stuff with this camera, man. You're instigators.
You need to wake up.
They are.
What's going on?
I'm just a person. Yeah, you're just a guy hanging out with them. See you later, man. I ain't stupid. You guys are pretty stupid. Can't wait to
No, thank you.
No.
Tell me about it.
I'm the furthest thing
What do
from a
y'all-
white
I figured you
supremacist.
probably weren't. What are y'all doing?
I'm just asking people if they want to abolish the Electoral College
No.
or keep it.
Necessary.
It's necessary.
Absolutely necessary.
Yeah, why don't you?
Tell them whatever you think of it. Yeah.
I'm holding it down, bro.
Oh, okay.
Let me know if someone gives you some problems.
No, you're good. You're good. There's no problems here.
Oh no!
So you just go.
Oh no!
That's the reason why he doesn't have any fans.
So you get your boss.
Still trying to find a place.
Oh no!
Good luck.
to do.
I tell you, it's terrible here now.
Gotta be.
I've lived here since 65.
Yeah. You don't have any pointers for me? Since you live here, you don't have any
Hey, how you doing, man?
All
right. Just read up.
You want to do one?
Sure.
Cool.
I don't have to ignore anybody, man. They got my face for no good reason, dude.
Over here.
Taking camera pictures of
yeah.
people.
Thank you.
Saying they're calling the police on me for nothing.
So today we are asking the question: the Electoral College, should we keep it or abolish it?
Keep it. Keep it. Keep it.
What is your reasoning for wanting to keep it?
Well, it's originally part of the founders had a very specific reason for putting it in the Constitution and the initial writing of that document, and for equal representation of rural and urban
Right.
population. So you take it away, you basically become a democracy, and you screw half the population. Majority rules, and you get screwed. Everybody else gets screwed.
Right.
So I think it's a terrible idea. We have to have it.
Right.
As much as it can seem like a detriment, an issue, it's the balancing point.
Yeah.
So I think it's absolutely necessary.
Yeah. Some people would argue that, especially people in more populous areas, California, New York,
Yeah, absolutely.
that
I'm from Texas and Dallas. I
right.
understand.
Some people would argue that it's unfair that some states get more representation, that their vote doesn't count as much as their counterparts' vote. What would you say to those people?
Well, that's why you have a Congress.
Right.
That's why you have a judiciary. That's why you have a Supreme Court. So you balance all these pieces out. The Congress balances all these things out. So that's just the presidency we're talking about. That's only one piece of the government.
Right.
So it's not the end all be all of the picture. Most people are only voting for the president. They ignore all the rest. So it's like, well, that's why your perspective is limited, because you're not seeing. You got to vote for congressmen. That's where the balancing factor is, as far as population is concerned.
Right.
So
one person made the argument today that other countries do it by the popular vote. Why shouldn't we?
Well, I mean, like I said, I don't want to be a majority rules. The minorities will get left out and they'll get stomped on.
Right.
And it's fascinating that the most populous places are more liberally oriented places in our country, and are usually traditionally lean towards helping the minorities. So not understanding that perspective of that a majority rules mentality or popular vote will leave out lots of minorities in this country. So why the hell would we want to do that?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. The framers of the Constitution were torn between the popular vote and having Congress elect the president, so they came up with the compromise of the Electoral College. Granted, it doesn't work exactly how they intended it to, but this is the system that we've had, and it's been in place for...
And looking at the traditional democracies in history, they didn't work out very well for a lot of the minority peoples, and people got left out. So
And some people make the argument that we should abolish it because we need to get back to a democracy. But
we're a democracy.
Right. You took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say, but we are a constitutional republic.
Representative republic. Right. Yeah.
Right.
So.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate your opinion so much.
Pleasure.
Oh, no, not necessarily.
What was that all about? I mean, it's like...
Oh, that guy got mad at us because I was like, what are you bumping? And he goes, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I never heard of that band. And then he goes, because it's not real. And I was like, well, I guess you don't know what you're listening to then.
An angry fellow.
Yeah, it was just he was just trying to.
But how about the other guy?
Yeah, I don't know.
Everybody is like, just watch up here.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all right.
Well, I don't have any problem with
it. I don't have any problem. Yeah. I carry no animosity.
Right. That's what we think.
It's all right.
Exactly.
Hey, how's it going? You having a good day? Pose for him. Give him a nice pose.
Can we take one, all three of us?
Can we? Here, take one with me. Thanks. You're welcome. Have a good day, sir.
Seems very friendly and very open to me. Seeing it possible like this guy and him, we're just like, Trump's a fascist. It's like he's not out here.
He is what he is.
Yeah. He never said he was a Trump supporter.
Nope. It's the American flag. Yeah. People get mad about it.
Isn't that interesting?
It's very interesting because that flag is the same flag that allows you to do that.
Yeah.
You want a sticker? Go ahead. They love me. Oh, I know. They came up to me last week and said, I love your content, man. Keep doing what you do.
Oh, God.
So today we're out here asking the question, the Electoral College, should we keep it or abolish it?
I think the straightforward answer is just to abolish it and to restore a more democratic system where we don't need to...
Hold on, I'm going to stop you there for a second. Restore a more democratic system. What do you mean by that?
I mean that right now our vote is like a suggestion to the Electoral College representatives for who we think they should vote for. They don't have to follow our suggestions depending on the states.
Right. That's how the framers of the Constitution intended it to be.
As I understand it, they did it that way because there was no technology or there was no uniform infrastructure to be able to get people's votes safely to hand. So you would send someone on horseback to the DC area where they would basically be your kind of speaker and speak for you on behalf of who you would want voted for. But since now we have just loads of different ways to go about doing it and actually voting and getting your vote heard, I think we should just trust that, and we should let people's vote reflect their vote, and like who we would want as president, or any position of power, any government position, I guess is what I'm saying.
Right.
Like we don't need to necessarily have an electoral college now, because already it's like two dimensions of a republic. Like the republic is our representatives are the electorate people, and then their representatives are the actual politicians, whereas it could just be cutting out the middleman to have politicians represent us better by just having our vote reflect who we actually want.
Right.
And also, not to mention, there's been 5 different times where presidents, or I don't know about other positions, but specifically presidents, have gotten the position without winning the popular vote. And that's the most undemocratic thing. If you think about any system.
Right, but we're not a democracy. We're not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic.
We claim to be a democratic republic.
Right.
So if we want to live up to what we claim to be, we should probably.
But a democratic republic still isn't a democracy.
Yeah, but in order to have any democratic nature to it, we should be able to.
We do it. All of the voters vote for a president. Yeah. Right, and then the electors, whichever electors are decided in that state, get to decide the president. So it is democratic. It is a democratic process.
I would say it's only democratic for the electors, because as it stands now, I don't know what states where this is the case, but the electors don't have to actually abide by their constituents' votes. That is thankfully what they tend to do, but it's not necessarily. It's not legal. It's not the most, I don't know. It's not in the bylaw that they have to reflect that, and therefore it's not actually democratic for us voters, the common populace. It's not an actual democratic system.
Right, but it is their responsibility to represent their constituents in a fair way, right?
Honestly, and I think most of the time they're going to do that. But I think as it is now, with a lot of people eroding trust in democracy and a lot of people thinking that elections are being stolen, I think they are legitimately being legally not representing what people want, as we have an electoral college. And so in order to kind of restore a lot of our faith in it and let people actually feel like their vote's going to matter and feel like their vote's going to do something.
Right.
I don't think it should be an electoral college. I think it should be direct vote. I actually don't even think there should be states. I think it should literally just be an American's vote is an American's vote. And then you're not having a misrepresentation where someone from a smaller state or a more rural state has proportionately more electors, because you have to start with 2.
Well, it would still work out. It would still work out that way, wouldn't it? Even if there was no states, like you said, because the people on the coasts would lean towards a liberal view, and the people in the center flyover states would still have less populace, and they would still have less representation. Would you agree with that?
That people in flyover states would have less representation
because there's less populace
people there. I think that a lot of people in a lot of places would have a frustration regardless. I think there's people, we're in a pretty liberal area right now. If you're a conservative in California, you're frustrated every single election cycle because you feel like no matter how you vote, the state's still going to go blue.
Right.
So why even vote? So everyone's just running.
If someone wants to vote red in California, they're almost throwing their vote away. Almost, is that the sentiment you're trying to?
I mean, I don't want to say those words because I don't want to say that this is not actual. This is not I do want to say that there's a democratic system here, but yeah, a lot of times in a lot of ways, if you know that your friend's gonna vote Democratic and you're gonna vote conservative, you might just be all right, let's just not vote together because we're not gonna, it's not gonna mean anything either way. So that's also why I'm saying an American's vote should just be an American's vote, regardless. And there shouldn't be.
I'm looking up.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm in the way of things. I can also try to block more of.
No, yeah, you're good. Yeah, I'll do this. You're good.
But yeah, that's kind of my stance overall on the matter, and I do think that, especially where things stand with regards to Trump claiming that there's been a lot of election fraud, and in the past there actually being election fraud, in the Gore and Bush. And I want to say 2000. I don't remember what year that election was, but it comes down to, it can come down to so few votes that if there's a system in place where people actually believe that their vote's going to matter, then it'll come down to the right votes. It won't just come down to misinformation, or it won't just come down to the people that still had faith, that had influence and was able to make something happen. Like, hopefully everyone will then have more like political involvement.
Yeah.
You know? And also, another thing I would really, really want to see is a tax incentive to get people to vote. Like, I would want to see like tax write-offs for people if you can prove that you voted in your local, your state, you know, and then people might be like involved in midterm elections, not just every 4 years, like caring for just a second.
Get bigger turnout for like primaries and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, that's where I stand on the matter. And I think the biggest thing is just that we can, as it is now, we can end up with people that don't actually represent the people that they're supposed to represent because they weren't voted in by the people.
Yeah.
You know.
You mentioned election fraud. Do you? I know this is a little unrelated to the topic at hand, but do you think that there was election fraud, or do you think that the amount of election fraud was zero?
Oh well, I mean, that's kind of an absolute. Of course, there's not zero election fraud. I think there's a major like boogeyman story about there being rampant election fraud, especially in 2020. I think there has been election fraud. Again, the Bush v. Gore election, there was like the vote count in Florida was like called off. They got to get the Supreme Court involved, and like Republicans were trying to like prevent it from happening. And there was like this thing where they wanted to stop counting any ballots from certain counties, or certain counties weren't allowed recounts. So I think, of course, there's like, and also like, that's just like the narrow election fraud of actual votes themselves. I think there's much more like election interference coming from a lot of the like international engagement with American elections, and a lot of the like, I hate to blame Donald Trump for this, but a lot of the way in which he kind of tries to erode at people's faith in it, I think that itself is a lot of election interference too. So to answer your question succinctly, yes, I do think there is election fraud. No, I do not think that election fraud in the way that there's been claims about it in 2020 into now, I don't think that they're like as worrisome.
Like, it wasn't significant enough to sway the election.
Then to basically sway. But again, as the elections currently stand, I don't even think that it's a solid system in place. So if you're swaying a broken system, you know, it's broken regardless, you know. So I think the first step in the right direction would be to like reform voting, not just getting rid of the Electoral College, but actually getting rid of like first past the post voting systems, where it's like you have to vote strategically. You can't actually vote for a third party candidate because then you really think you're just throwing it away. You can actually be like, all right, this is who I want first, this is who I want second, and then you can truly have like other parties be represented. We don't have just this binary two-party system. We get to have people who represent more viewpoints, and you get to have people like that actually feel like they're gonna be able to vote for what they want, rather than voting just to keep the like more dangerous person out of the office.
Voting for who you like instead of against who you don't like.
It's like voting against now.
Yeah, that's a shame.
And that's the shame. And I think the Electoral College is part of the reason that that's the case. Honestly, I think the two-party system is really a big part. I think ranked choice voting would really be a good step in the right direction of stopping and like reforming that, and like getting it to where people can have more candidates that actually have a chance of running. You know.
Do you think maybe if we like banned lobbying in elections, do you think that might help fix the problems that the Electoral College has?
I don't know if that's tenable, but
it's too much money to get rid of. It's a pipe dream, but just let's a reindeer game.
What really is lobbying? Do you mean money specifically?
Yeah, like spending money, giving Congress people money, giving the party money to.
Great. I think it'd be great if we could go back to Citizens United and not allow companies to have as much say as an individual. Right. Yeah, but I don't think that's. I
think we're too far gone for that.
Yeah, I just feel like the ranked choice voting and abolishing the Electoral College is like simple, like simple policy reforms, whereas lobbying stuff is like you would change an entire economy.
Yeah.
You know, you would change the entire nature of networking and like the business of politics as well. So I feel like it's not the first beast to tackle.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, that's respectable. Well, I appreciate your opinion, man. Thanks for talking to me.
You're a child to me. You're a fucking child to me. Get off my ass, dude. I'll box you out.
Hey! Stop fighting! Why'd you go stand up for something that matters? Hey! Stop fighting the old man!
I'm not fighting nobody.
I said stop fighting the old man!
I just told him to get away from me.
I'm talking to the kid, bro.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah! I'm from somewhere where we got fucking respect for our elders.
Have a great day.
Where are you at? Go find a fucking woman who's being beat some guy's ass for that, you stupid fucks. Cause where were any of you when I was getting raped? Y'all want to talk about it? Oh, but that's too
Says
much.
the guy who just came over here and tried to perpetrate violence.
Jesus, you want to fucking film it, bro? What were we just at church about? Unity?
What do you want me to do about it? Step in the middle?
You sit down and pray. Please, some of us act on the word.
All right, go do it.
What?
The Electoral College.
Is it Trump winning? Food and buy that.
What do you
Like,
mean?
in this
The Electoral College. So is it the measure on F?
that we're
No. The Electoral College is how we elect the president.
all day on Sunday, like it's
Do you have an opinion on that?
I
Should we keep it or abolish it? Here, you want to stand here and give me your opinion? Sure, decide. All right, let's move that way just a little bit.
I'm confused.
You want to stand on the red sun?
No, I do not.
Okay. Have a good day.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Today we're asking the question, the Electoral College, should we keep it or abolish it?
That's a really, really juicy ass question.
Yeah.
Shall we abolish the vote for who? Kamala or Trump?
No, that's not the question. It's should we abolish the Electoral College
No.
or should we keep it?
We should keep it.
You think so?
Yes.
What would be your reasoning for that?
It sounds like college and an electoral ass vote. Debate class. God damn it. I got my ramen noodles. I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good. So you think we should keep it?
What is the odds of not?
The odds of not keeping it, the odds of abolishing it, probably 0. But people want to abolish it because they feel
What's
like...
the reasoning?
Well, the reasoning for abolishing it from the people that would support that would be that they think that their vote is not representative of like 1-to-1. So like people in flyover states, they feel like their vote counts more than theirs. Because the Electoral College is the system in which we elect the president. So people vote for their electors to vote for the president. And each state has a certain number of congresspeople and senators. And depending on how many congresspeople and senators you have, that's how many electoral votes you get for each state.
So we should keep the electoral votes.
Right. The framers of the Constitution.
That's the breaking point, or like the odds, or like
These are the representatives we choose to represent us, right? So then they should elect the president.
Tupac's my electoral vote.
Okay.
Biggie Smalls, Whitney Houston is my president, my birth mama.
Okay.
Whitney Houston and Bobby, her daughter. Tupac Amaru Shakur. Assata Shakur's in Cuba. Donald Trump.
Are you a Trump supporter?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, he almost goddamn died.
That is true.
Would you like Kamala Harris? Persecuted goddamn state. And you know how many niggas got child support that's fucking on another white bitch that called themselves natives? Oh, shit. Tupac. Sorry, I gotta go walk.
You're okay. You're okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a beautiful day.
You have a better one, King.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey, half the reason I started filming because if that kid assaulted that guy, I'd have proof. You don't care about proof?
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not into it.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
No,
you know exactly what you were there.
No, I genuinely don't know. I'm having a conversation with someone right now.
All right.
No, I don't.
Take it
know
somewhere
what
else.
you're talking about. I genuinely don't. I wasn't in
Okay.
that for a political reason. I just didn't.
Neither was I.
Should fight, and I don't know what you're talking about. Okay.
You do,
I just
though.
want to finish the conversation I'm having with this person. Please
That's fine.
respect me. I don't
Okay.
wanna be a part of your
Well,
thing.
you're doing it in the area that I'm
not.
conducting
I
my
get it.
show.
You're gonna try to scare me, but that's not what.
I'm not scaring you.
Treat me like that at church. You
Okay.
understand me? Yeah, for a bunch of men. Treat me that way. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, stop. Okay. I see you. You're,
I see you too.
Then respect me. and
Respect
excuse
me.
yourself from me. Anyway, like,
Respect is a two-way street.
you gotta give it to me, and I gave it to you first.
Correct. And I've been nothing but respectful to you.
No, I'm the one who tells you to respect me.
Okay.
Already.
Okay.
Well, I laid over that. So
Agree to
stop
disagree.
harassing me. Stop harassing me, bro. You wanna film
You
this?
are standing
Film
here.
This, put this on your channel.
Okay, I will.
Anyway, like,
I'll make you the thumbnail with that guy. You and that guy will be on the thumbnail. Like,
what guy to prove what? You want to use me to prove something?
no, you just told me to put it on my video.
But you said you weren't using this to prove anything. You just wanted opinions from everyone as a whole.
That's true. I'm not proving anything.
Look at that, baby. Anyway, I got you.
So today we're asking the question: the Electoral College, should we keep it or abolish it?
Abolish it, absolutely. Over 200 years ago, when our Constitution was written, we didn't have the advanced technology that we have today, and it was necessary to choose electors to go to Washington to cast their votes, for the president at that time.
Right.
We don't need the Electoral College now because we have instant communications, and I firmly believe the point that in a modern democracy, you need one vote, one person. Okay, everyone has a vote, and it's just that way. Every citizen has a vote, and it should be popular vote only. The Electoral College should definitely be abolished for that reason.
You mentioned a democracy. Many people have the misconception that we live in a democracy, but we actually live in a constitutional republic.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, we were actually formed after ancient Rome.
Right.
As far as
Correct.
as the government was concerned. Yeah.
Correct.
And that needs some modification, probably.
You think so?
I think so, yes.
I brought up earlier to someone that perhaps maybe if we, this is a pipe dream, we're able to get rid of lobbying in elections. Do you think that might fix some of the problems people see with the Electoral College?
I think it would, because you have the 1% ruling the 99%, which is us on the bottom here. And unless the billionaires are really willing to step up and contribute their fair share to society and, whatever, and the corporations as well, then I think there are dramatic changes that need to be made in a system, particularly when you have to deal with, our government. They go out, and they seek huge amounts of money for corporate sponsorships and whatever, and that really taints the rule of law insofar, as regulations and things concerned, because it unfairly clouds you see the whole process by throwing that kind of money after it.
Yes, money corrupts.
Well, yeah, money is the root of all evil. Right. It's like Mr.
Cliches are that way for a reason, right?
Yes, that's right. Well, it's like Elon Musk giving, umpteen billions of dollars, to Mr. Trump, for his re-election bid.
Also, the thing he did where he was giving away $1 million a day to people who supported the First and Second Amendment. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. And
people had a problem with that. Some people were saying that was unconstitutional and also illegal.
It is.
But some people were also making the argument that it doesn't really matter to him that much because the fine is only $10,000. So the taxes on $1 million would be far more than $10,000.
Yeah.
Right? So so really it's a win.
Well, the whole situation is he's a convicted felon. I mean, that's really the bottom line.
Trump.
Yeah,
right.
Okay, he's a convicted felon, and he basically doesn't have any right, especially with his very antagonistic language, incitement language, and things like that, threatening violence, against all who oppose him, and blah, 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 and revenge and retaliation and stuff, There's no place, in this country, for that type of language and that type of attitude and everything. We got to keep it civil, folks. We're in tough times right now. China and Russia is threatening us. Iran is going to go viral. You have all this other bullshit going on, and right now we need to focus basically on what's important instead of instead of this cheap politics that they've got going. Well, not cheap. It's very expensive, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean by cheap politics.
Yeah, right. I do. Yeah. What would you say to the people who in support of the Electoral College, people mainly in like flyover states, smaller states, that if the Electoral College was to be abolished, that they wouldn't have equal representation in the national elections?
It's popular vote only. One person, one vote. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
Everyone who is a U.S. citizen who is registered to vote gets a vote. And that's it. Whether they're Democrat, Republicans, or independents, it doesn't matter. You know, if you have open voting, it means that everyone has a vote. Everyone has a right to say.
Yeah.
And that's the way it should be in a modern democracy. And incidentally, we're speaking about constitutional republics and the difference between democracy. We need to go democratic. We need to go the democratic way. We really do.
So
We need to find our way out of this continual mess, the quagmire that we have in our government. I'm on Social Security benefits. I make $1,200 a month, which is a small pittance compared to the years that I worked in my particular profession. And I find it very difficult to get ahead. I'm 72 years old.
Yeah.
And I still have to work in order to make ends meet.
Right.
Because we're getting a 2.5% Social Security increase this year from our precious all-giving government. And I say that sarcastically, of course. It's pathetic because that amounts to about, $33 or $34 increase on my Social Security, which is eaten up in the first 3 months of the year because of inflation and what have you.
Correct.
You know, so it's personally, as a senior is concerned, it's an insult.
Yeah.
It is an insult, to hardworking seniors like us who gave us our all, to support this country, to make the country the way that it is, and to be insulted and humiliated in this way by our government. It's not right.
Right. I had something there, but I lost it. It's all right. It's all right. I appreciate your opinion, sir. Thank you so much for stopping to talk to me.
My name is Calvin Martin.
Calvin. Oh, I know what I was going to ask you. You mentioned Social Security. What do you think about Trump's rhetoric and that he says no tax on Social Security? Do you think that that's just rhetoric, or do you think he might follow through with that?
The man is a blooming idiot. There is no taxes on Social Security.
There isn't?
No, never has been. You don't tax Social Security benefits. They're not taxable.
Okay.
And also, people who are on Social Security also cannot be sued, and held liable for different things. But no, there are no taxes on Social Security. I mean, I've been receiving Social Security benefits for the better part of, retired about, 20-something years ago. No taxes.
So this is just rhetoric, do you think, to maybe rile up a certain portion of his maybe more uneducated base?
Oh, yeah, of course. And we're talking about blooming idiots here. I mean, they're ridiculous. But I just want to let you know, and I want to bring this up to everyone else, there never has been taxes on Social Security. And as far as I know, there never will be.
Right.
Because that wouldn't be right.
Yeah.
Because I worked all those years that I paid taxes. That's what I'm living on now. It's the taxes I paid into and also my part, for working and everything. So I'm living on benefits that I've worked for all those years. And I never paid taxes on the Social Security benefits because there aren't any.
Now, forgive my ignorance around the Social Security issue. Do you pay taxes when you pay into it? Are there taxes taken out of what you put into the Social Security fund?
Oh, yeah, very definitely.
Maybe is that what he's talking about? Maybe?
I don't think so, because he was clear on the Social Security thing.
Right.
And I just want to make it clear to everyone else that there are no taxes on Social Security benefits. There never have been.
Okay.
All right.
While they're paid out, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Right.
Yeah. You pay taxes while paying in.
Right.
But you don't pay going out.
Right.
You get your benefits, and that's it, non-taxable.
Right.
All right. So my name is Calvin Martin. I'm 72. I'm a working senior activist here in Arcata. And, it was a good privilege talking to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for stopping to talk to me. I really appreciate your opinion.
You're very welcome. Absolutely.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you did. Of course you did. Yeah.
Wonderful. Excellent. Okay.
All right.
On my way.
Well, you have a beautiful day.
All right. Hey, have a good one now, okay?
Yeah, you have a beautiful day.
You too.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so today we're asking the question, the Electoral College, do you think we should keep it or abolish it?
Well, I think first of all we should have a representation for the people, and so Electoral College, no. But I believe that we need to not support the 1% and be for the people, by the people, for the people, and then be a representation for America. And I think we should abolish capitalism.
So do you think maybe trying to get lobbyists and lobbying out of the elections would be helpful?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And I think that the ones that lobby, they should maybe not be multinational, and they should probably be paid taxes, because I truly believe that 7% or 5% from 1% of our country is like 1,000 times less than 2% of the top 1%.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So do you think that money is the main cause of the problems in our electoral system?
The major cause, but also power, and I think
Well, money goes hand in hand with power, right?
Yes, it does. It really does. Yes.
Yeah. Do you think maybe we should have limits on the amount certain companies or individuals should be allowed to donate to?
Yes, I believe that it shouldn't be from the corporate. I truly believe that all the candidates, and it's a two-party system, they should have a limit on the money, and then maybe take it just out of our taxes and a little less money on war.
So you think maybe it should be publicly funded instead of funded by corporations?
I do. I believe that it should be publicly funded, and it should not be by corporations at all.
Yeah. So you think we should have all private interests out of elections?
All private interests out of elections. Yes.
Well, I appreciate your opinion, sir.
Oh my God,
thank you so
thank
much
you,
for talking
sir.
to me.
Uh-huh.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for doing what you're doing.
Do you want a sticker?
Yeah. Oh my God, you're like there's somebody out there that might actually be able to help.
I'm trying.
Oh my gosh.
If I can create a ripple, hopefully it can turn into a wave, right?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, sir.
You give me a little help. I mean, if we all got to get out there and do this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
Yeah, you have a beautiful day, my
Yeah, you have a blessed day.
Thank
you. All right, so today we're asking the question, with all of the contention around the election, the Electoral College, should we keep it or abolish it?
We should abolish it.
Why would you have take this position?
I think it's an anachronism. It goes back to, the founding fathers, and it was put in place largely, from my understanding, to give more representation to rural states,
Right.
and more specifically to southern states, to slave-holding states.
Yes, I've heard this argument.
This is my understanding, and I understand at that time, that made sense. There were a lot of part of it is that it maintains the elite,
Right.
Okay, and in those days, most people were pretty ignorant, uneducated,
right,
people
right.
who were able to vote. So
Would you say that's different today?
I'd say that
the ignorance.
I think I believe that there were more uneducated people, as a percentage.
From like lack of technology, do you think, or like lack of communication, like how we're able to quickly communicate with each other across
at that time
large swaths of land?
In the late 18th century, yes, there weren't that many educated people. It was, again, the elite. Also, you have to bear in mind that the founding fathers at the time that the Constitution was written, they were looking at France. They were looking at what happened in France, and they were very concerned about mob rule.
Right.
They were concerned about what happened to the elites in those countries. So
right, with the revolution, and they pulled the royalty out of the palace and killed them. And
yeah. So the land owning and the slave owning elites in what was to be the United States were very wary of that, and they wanted to maintain their positions. I think that's what a lot of it is about. And today it's completely anachronistic, that it makes no sense to cede that much power to regions of the country that are basically empty. They're devoid of people.
Yeah.
You're giving votes to acres as opposed to people.
Yeah.
That's my concern with the Electoral College. It's outdated and it should be abolished.
You did bring up the argument from the other side that they were worried about having less representation for more rural and smaller areas. Do you think that that's a valid argument, or do you think that the problems encompassing the Electoral College are bigger than the original ideas that the framers had? That would be the problem. Do you think that now we've kind of surpassed that issue, and now that we can move on to having it be the popular vote?
I like to think that. I mean, I guess we would find out.
Right.
I mean, I feel like things have shifted enough so that the rural interests, which are at this point really the interests of agricultural conglomerates,
Okay.
are going to be represented by, what's currently in place,
Right.
by congressional representation.
Right.
But in terms of the presidential politics, which is really what we're talking about when we're talking about the Electoral College. Yeah, I think it should be the popular vote and nothing but the popular vote. While we're on the subject, I think the Senate itself is a anachronistic institution.
Right.
For the same reason that you've got a state like North Dakota that has 2 senators and 1 congressional representative. It doesn't make sense for them to have that much representation in the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's what you're looking for, right?
Correct. Yeah.
I think actual representation of the population is what we should be going for.
Yeah.
Today, in today's world.
Yeah.
So.
One thing I brought up earlier to someone that was making a very similar argument to that you're making was that do you think that maybe this is kind of a pipe dream because there's too much money involved, but maybe if we were able to get rid of lobbying, that would fix some of the problems we see in the Electoral College? Because there would be less pressure from these agricultural conglomerates and these huge companies pressuring these people to vote a certain way.
I think any kind of reform in this regard is good reform. So yeah, I think less money in politics,
Yeah.
less power from the lobbyists would be all to the good.
Do you think maybe there should be a cap on money allotted to certain people running for president? Do you think that maybe there should be like a limit on how much money can be donated per individual towards the campaign, or a total number also?
I think national elections should be publicly funded.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it should be, and they should be limited.
Right.
And actually, the ramp up to the election should be less. We shouldn't have constant elections, which is
right.
So if you drained the lobbies of some of their power or all of their power, that would have a major impact.
Yeah.
So I think that would be great.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your opinion, sir. Thank you so much for stopping to talk to me.
Thank you.
And I appreciate it.
Who are you?
I just have a show called American Interviews. I'm an independent journalist. I don't really have a team or anything like that. I don't work for anyone. I just have a YouTube show.
Okay,
and
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
I heard
Do you
you
want
get a few hits.
Yeah, a few here and there. Yeah.
Not Brian Tyler Cohen level, but
No, we're getting there, hopefully.
Okay.
You want a sticker?
Sure.
Maybe for your water bottle or something?
Yeah, well, it will certainly distinguish me. What's this with the black flag, though? What's the black flag mean?
Oh, I don't know.
I need help with that.
Backpack. I just bought the backpack.
I see a lot of people with black flags. I'm like, what is it? What are they? What is that? All right.
There.
Well, good luck to you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for asking. Did you interview her?
I did.
Yeah. What did she have to say?
She said Tupac is her electoral vote, and Biggie Smalls and Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston for president. And Bobby, her daughter?
Her daughter Bobby should be
All right. Have a beautiful day.
Hang in there. Good luck to all.
Thank you. All right, don't forget to go out and vote this election cycle. It's very, very important that we get all of our community involved in this. Every voice counts. Get out and vote. I will drop a link below so you can register to vote. Also, you can visit vote.gov. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out American Interviews affiliate link for Ground News. I believe it is check.ground.news/americaninterviews. Sign up for 15% off any subscription model, and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much.